everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a little bit different of a video. Today I'm going to be sharing my experience as a YouTube content creator. And I have been thinking about doing this video for a while. In fact, I was just telling Jenna about it a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, I really want to do this video. It's kind of just been like bugging at me. And I am finally doing it. And I'm so excited. I went ahead and posted in my Instagram stories asking you guys to ask me questions. So I said, hey, I'm going to be filming a video today about my YouTube journey. Are there any questions you guys have? And so many of you guys asked the best questions. I like being an open book, right? And certain things I'm obviously not able to go into full detail, but I'm talking about things that I've never spoke about before. And I know this is a longer video, and I do apologize for that. You guys know I like to go off on tangents. I'm kind of a tangent girl. And I appreciate you guys sending in the questions because the questions kind of kept me on task. Like I was like, okay, it's time to move on. Answer another question. So this is just a chilled, laid back chit chat video. Get ready with me, sharing with you guys my experience as a content creator, the good, the bad, and the best, right? That is what this video is about. Now, I really don't talk about the makeup as I'm applying it. I really don't tell you what I'm doing or anything like that. So if you have any questions about what I'm wearing, I will link everything down in the description box down below. But today it's just all about my YouTube experience and my journey and some of my experience with other content creators, good and bad. My experiences with brands, good and bad. Like, it's just kind of one of those where I really open up. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Again, I apologize for the length of it, but you know, I'm a talker. Anyways, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm a little nervous, but we're going to jump into this. We're going to start with the first question, which is from Sophia Sees Beauty, which she has a YouTube channel, by the way. She is amazing. I will link her channel in the description box down below. She's just really thorough, really focuses on the main key points that you want to know, and I really love her channel. So her question is, always been curious of when you started your channel and if you had another job at the time. I created my account on September 10th of 2017, and I think I didn't actually start filming and like doing videos till maybe like December or something, November, December. It was a few months after. So I would say, let's just say the beginning of 2018 is when I started my YouTube channel. And I did not have a job prior to that. Basically, I was a stay-at-home mom for all those years. So I did help my husband. So my husband has his own business. He's a general contractor. He would either flip houses or people hire him to flip houses. So I would help him, especially on like houses that we were doing for ourselves, and do it that way. But mostly I was a stay-at-home mom. Like, my main job was my two children. That was kind of my thing, right? Making sure they got to school and all the after-school activities and all of that. Like, being a stay-at-home mom is a full-time job. It's such a full-time job. And so when I started my channel, my kids were in high school and they were just starting to drive and like having their own lives, to the point where I didn't like have to take them everywhere. I wasn't like, you know how it is. You're like the built-in chauffeur everywhere you go. You got to take all the kids, which I miss those times. So the next question is from my friend Lori from It's Lori's Life. She's also an amazing content creator. I love her so much. I will also link her channel in the description box down below. She asks, what are your top 2 types of products you like to review? That's so easy. I love foundation reviews and eyeshadow reviews. Those are probably my 2 favorite, but my favorite is foundation. I love testing a new foundation. I love finding a new foundation, and it's like I don't know, it just gives me like all the feels. I love it. I'm always in that mood to find the best foundations. So yeah, those are my top 2 favorite by far. On the flip side of that though, they're some of the hardest to review because they take me the longest. So, I wear them for several days before, actually creating content and filming content. And so there's a little bit more work that goes into it. However, Eyeshadow palettes are, I think, the most work for me just because I spend so much time doing the swatches and comparisons. Those are by far the hardest. Like, they take me the longest. So the next question is from The Beauty Still. And her question is, how do you approach your relationships with brand and PR? I really don't. I don't reach out to brands and ask for PR. I never have, and I probably will never do that, only because I don't really care about the PR. I mean, don't get me wrong. The only time, in my opinion, that PR is really worth it is that if you get it early enough so that you can put your content out prior to it launching, or like the day that it launches, so that you can really help your followers make a good purchasing decision, right? Or you can kind of guide them and to know what they're buying when they buy it. Other than that, I don't really care about PR. I don't really think about it. I'm grateful for it. I'm trying to get the foundation out of my hair if you wonder what I'm doing. I'm grateful for PR. You know, I mean, here's the thing. I'm grateful for it, but I don't really think much about it. I probably prefer buying it so that I have the experience of buying it, having it shipped to me, using it, spending my own money on it, and then deciding if I like it from there, right? So I've been kicked off PR lists before because I didn't like their products. And they've even went as far as to like reach out to you and ask you if there was like anything that they could do to make your experience better. And I'm like, not really. It just didn't work for me, right? Like, you would not believe how brands try to like kind of strong arm you to have an opinion that they want you to have. We'll get into that. We will get into that. The next question is, what do you do with all this makeup? Literally everything looks stunning on you. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you. That is from X Fearless X. I appreciate that. So a lot of it, I have a lot of it. I do give a lot of it to my daughter. I give a lot of it to my mom. And I also donate to I have a local women's shelter that I love to donate. I've also sent a few packages of gently used makeup to Project Beauty Share, and they go in and kind of sanitize and stuff like that makeup and then give it to different charities. I have sold a few things on Poshmark, like brand new things that I've never opened or used. I also keep some of it because I need it for, you know, oftentimes I need it for swatching and comparing and, you know, being able to offer that, right? Like, because I take a lot of pride in swatches and comparisons, especially now because we have so much makeup at this point, there's so much that's been launched, then I think that swatches and comparisons are important. So I do like to try to keep some of the makeup that I have in my collection so I can use it for swatching purposes. Next question. Oh, this is from Gabe Loves Makeup. If you guys are not following Gabe, I will link him also in the description box. I'm going to be sharing a bunch of content creators that I absolutely love, and Gabe is one of them. His question is, what have you learned about yourself over the years as a creator? Ooh, wow, that is a good question. You know, here's the thing, and it might be surprising, but because I can like compartmentalize my emotions, I'm very good at that. I think that stems from my childhood. You know, when you're raised, you know, with a lot of pain and people hurting you, it's almost like it becomes a gift, and I have that gift. I can definitely separate my emotions and not allow things to hurt me. I'm not very sensitive. So what I've learned through this process is that I'm even stronger than I thought I was. So I've always known that I've always had like armor, right? Where I can really like take daggers and not really let it affect me. But when it comes to YouTube, you really have to have thick skin to do this. I mean, truly. The comments can be so brutal at times for people to not know you and just start throwing anything they want, you know, hiding behind a computer screen or a phone screen or whatever, and just throw some of your deepest insecurities at you. It's hard. It is extremely hard, but my thing is that I don't really care if they attack me for my looks. Like, you can attack me all day for all that stuff. That stuff doesn't bother me. It's when somebody attacks my integrity I have a problem with. Like, if somebody either accuses me of lying or accuses me of not being fair or, you know, stuff like that. And here's the thing. I'm always open for constructive criticism. I actually enjoy constructive criticism because I just think it makes me better. But it's not always fun to sit there and have somebody attack your integrity. It's just not fun. But that's what I've pretty much learned from being on YouTube, is that I am much stronger than I thought I was. And the reason why I say that is that Mel and I used to have this conversation all the time. You know, Mel was very empathic. She's a lot like my daughter. And, you know, she is in touch with her feelings. And comments really, really hurt Mel. They really did. I mean, they bothered her to the core. She was just like, Tara, I wish that I could handle these negative comments like you do. They just kind of bounce and reflect off of you. But I would say, to answer that question, to get off that tangent, biggest thing that I've learned about myself through this process is that I'm much stronger than I thought I was. Deb, let's see, is it Deb O'Toola or something? Tool? I'm not sure. 83. I love her. I know who she is. I just don't know how to pronounce that. Anyway, she asks, what are the things you don't like about being a content creator? Well, there's a few. Obviously, the positives outweigh the negatives, or I wouldn't do it, right? I would say the biggest negative is the disappointment from other content creators. You start to kind of see who they really are, and that's just always so sad to see. Like, you know, as a viewer, you see them a certain way, and then behind the scenes, you're like, wow, you're not really that good of a person. And it sucks. That sucks. And you think that maybe they're your friend and they're not. There's a few selfish content creators, and there are an abundance amount of amazing content creators. And I feel like in the community that I have surrounded myself with, they're amazing people. The other thing that I don't like, but I have fixed this. So this is something that I have fixed, and I know that most content creators would probably agree with me on this. The intense feeling that you get of trying to get your video up first. We all know that it's important. It is. If you want to get better views on that video, you need to get that video up as quickly as you possibly can. I live in Utah, and the only time that I get a product early is that if, number one, it ships from California, like if there's a distribution center in California, then I'll get it early. Or number two, my Sephora really knocks it out of the ballpark and I get something, you know, within a day or two. Most content creators would agree that we spend a small fortune on shipping, either overnight shipping or 2-day shipping. And then we're stalking to see how long it's going to take, because we got to plan around it to make sure that we get it so we can film it and get that video up as soon as possible. I have completely stopped doing that. It's a process. I mean, I still have that sensation of, oh crap, I got to get this up. And then I'm like, no. I have a life. That's just stressful, and I think it takes the fun out of it because you're so stressed trying to get that video up. And don't get me wrong, I was really excited that I was able to get the Lisa Eldridge video up, and that doesn't normally happen for me. Like, most of the time, for example, this is a prime example. So Pat McGrath, when she launched the beautiful blush and highlighter in her holiday collection, it took me 2 weeks to get it. By then, nobody cares. And I still haven't uploaded a video or review on it because nobody really cares. They've moved on from the holiday collection for Pat McGrath. It's like kind of a waste. I will have it in my collection for future swatches and stuff, but that's a prime example. When a brand takes 2 weeks for us to get stuff, it just completely ruins it. So that's a bummer. It is. And sometimes I wish I lived on the East Coast because it seems like if you live on the East Coast, you're going to get stuff so much quicker than it gets to me here on the West Coast. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to cry about it. But I have gotten better at not allowing that to consume me. The reason for that is because you guys are so consistent with watching my videos that, yes, if it is a newer release and I get that video up quicker, I'll probably get more views on it. but I still get and maintain a pretty consistent amount of views. So now it doesn't really bother me as much. You're only averaging like 700 to 2,000 views per video. It's a little bit harder. And you're really trying to get in that algorithm, because that's the biggest fight, is the algorithm. And I know that shorts is like the next thing for YouTube, but it's hard for me to get into this short content because I love creating long content. And these short videos that are just super quick, they're just not who I am. I'm a storyteller. I am a very loud and like, I like to express myself when I talk, and like, it's hard to do that in 1 minute. It's really hard to do that in a minute, but I got to do it. Anyway, when and how did you realize it would become a full-time thing? The reason why I started my channel is because my teenagers were kind of in their own world now, right? They have their own cars, they're driving themselves. And I was just like, wait a minute, this is like, what do I do now, right? So because my life was consumed by taking my kids, I need to do my makeup or I'll never get done. I love to talk though. This video is going to be so long and I apologize in advance. I just hope that you guys bear with me on this one because it's going to be so long. Oh my gosh. So that kind of goes back to why I started my channel, right? I loved makeup so much, and I was also struggling to try to find like YouTubers that were my age, because all the YouTubers I was following were in their like mid-20s. And I would buy stuff based on their suggestions and I'd be like, wait, I'm not having the same experience. Like, what the hell is going on, right? I remember when I first talked to my husband about it, he's been on board from day one, by the way. And he saw that I had so much passion for it because I have done other things. So I was in direct sales. I'm from Utah. So I think everybody from Utah can say they were in direct sales. And that I did. I didn't do it like full time. So I'm still kind of staying at home, right? I'm able to do direct sales from home. And I sold Scentsy for years, years and years and years. I still love the company. I still love all the people that I knew in the company, my friendships that I developed through that time. I just loved it. I went and traveled all across the country. You know, I did so much with Scentsy, and I started Scentsy way back when Scentsy was really new. I wasn't really that good at recruiting. I'm not really good at being like, hey, you can totally do what I do, right? So I didn't do very well with that. But I had a kick-ass team. My sister-in-law, she was under me living in Florida, and she was so good because everybody loves her, and she grew a really massive team under her. But I loved the product because I love my home to smell good. So it kind of worked for me that way. I got kind of tired of the direct sell stuff, and I kind of started to see some of the problems with direct sales. And so I kind of pulled away from it, and I was looking for that passion that was mine, right? Like I was looking for something that I could do that would fulfill me, keep me happy, and like do something for me. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And, you know, my husband was like, wait, what? That came out of left field, right? And he was supportive from day one. My kids were supportive from day one. My daughter actually helped me edit the first few videos, because I didn't know a thing. I had no idea how to do anything, you guys. Nothing. Okay. I still don't. I'm still like behind the I have the hardest time learning all this stuff. I really do, which means that I only do this just for fun, because it's a lot of work. Like, you know, learning all of the editing programs. I really need to learn how to edit with Final Cut Pro, but just trying to take the time to do it. And oh my gosh, right now I use iMovie to edit. That was the first program that I learned. And I have a hard time switching. When I get comfortable with something, it's really, really hard for me to switch over. It really is. It's like teaching an old dog new tricks. And all of this new social media stuff, like the TikTok stuff, I'm trying to get into it, but it's really hard for me. It is. I'm not gonna lie. It's so hard for me. So I would say, to answer that question, I keep going off on these tangents, you guys, I apologize. Probably a year or two into it is when I realized, oh, I can actually make money doing this. I didn't, you know, you just don't realize that because you make nothing for like 2.5 solid years. Like a few $100s here and there is what you would make. And it's not a lot for the time that you spend, how much money goes into it. Like, it was a lot And I kept telling myself, if I can just get my channel to the point where my channel will pay for the products that I'm buying and reviewing, that's all I care about. I just want to get it to that point and that threshold. And so I worked really, really hard to get it there. That was my goal. My goal has never been to be a YouTuber that has 1 million followers. My goal has never been to, you know, have all these amazing brand deals. And like, that was never my focus. If I wanted to get more out of it, it all depends on how much you put into it. Like if you're uploading content all the time, then you're going to get more out of it, right? Like, I don't really want it to overtake my entire life. I still have a life and I love my kids. And when they come to visit, you know, like last week, my son was here. He was getting ready to move out and he had his new puppy. I didn't film much because he was here and I really couldn't film. And I didn't really want to because I wanted to hang out with him and hang out with the new puppy and, you know, and I have got my channel to the point where I can do that. Now, it doesn't always help your channel when you take a break. Believe me, I've learned that the hard way. YouTube algorithm does not like it when you take breaks. They just don't. They punish you for it. And then trying to get it back into the algorithm. Oh, and because you'll have people say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you uploaded. What? I didn't even know. Nobody told me. And then speaking of that, so I uploaded just recently my second Sephora haul video. Well, I ended up having to delete that video. All the time that I spent creating that video and filming it and editing it and stuff. Somehow, I don't know what happened. I've already emailed YouTube, but it says that it is 20 seconds long. I didn't even know it until somebody commented and said, am I watching something that's weird? Because it was like right in the middle of me like putting foundation or something on, and it's like a 20-second sentence. And the rest of the video is gone. I'm like, what the hell happened? So I don't know. I had to take it down because I was like, I don't know what happened. That's the kind of stuff that's really hard. Okay, the next question is, does your family watch your videos? I don't know. I'm really weird about, like, if my husband, he's the cutest person, but like, he'll go around and like show people, oh, my wife, like he'll go to the bank and he'll start talking to somebody and he'll be like, oh, my wife has a YouTube channel, and he'll just show them like in the line. I'm like, what? So he loves it. He is constantly telling people, oh, my wife has a YouTube channel. You got to check it out. Da, da, da. He's so sweet that way. I just love it. And I know that my daughter watches it every once in a while. I'm not sure about my son. I know that he kind of keeps track of what I'm doing, and he'll like, you know, say, hey, Mom, I noticed that you did this. Congratulations, you know, and stuff like that. But like, I don't think that they just kind of sit back and watch it. You know what I mean? But I am very grateful how supportive my husband is, because it takes a lot of time to do YouTube, and he knows how much work I put into it. He loves how much I love it, and he's just always so proud of me. And yeah, he never complains. He's never once complained and said, oh my gosh, you can't do this because you have to do a video. Really? He's never, in the 4 or 5 years I've been doing this, he's never said that to me, ever. Which he's like, do what you got to do. You know, we'll make it work, da, da, da. Like, he's so supportive, and I'm so grateful for that. Let's see. AIA Pottery said, I just want to tell you that you are my favorite YouTuber ever, and I really appreciate your honesty. Well, thank you very much. I love you to pieces, and I am always going to keep it real here. I mean, I might piss off a few people with this video, but you know what? It's all about being authentic, you know, kind of sharing the good, the bad, and the bold that comes with this job, you know. And do I see it as a job? Yeah, but I also, for me, mostly it's a hobby. Mostly I see it as a job, but I also see it as, it's really fun. All right, I'm making a mess. Okay, the next question is from the same person. What step did you take on your channel that made the most difference in subs or income? Oh, steps. Posting more. Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is posting more and being consistent. And, you know, for me, there's so many of us out here now that review the same makeup. And I'm sure you guys as viewers know that, right? Like, you know, anytime Natasha Denona launches a new palette, you know that you're going to be able to turn on the YouTube, and within a week, there's going to be 20 of us that have our video up, right? So it's trying to find something that separates you from everyone else. That's the hardest part about YouTube. And I think that's why I take so much pride in doing the swatches and comparisons, because I know that it's really helpful for the audience. And I also know that being a person that comes really close up, you know, take you guys outside, show you guys all the in-depth stuff. A lot of people don't want to do that. And they don't have to, right? Like that's not something that you have to do. If you're not comfortable doing it, don't do it, right? But as a viewer, when I was a viewer, it was always really helpful to kind of see it up close, right? So I always try to do a little bit extra so that my review is as thorough as I can possibly get it and give you as much of the information as I can. And I'm not always 100% right. Like I always flub up. I think my biggest flub ups is how I pronounce things. I suck at that, if you guys haven't noticed. And I've gotten more shit. I've gotten more hell about pronouncing things than anything I've done. Seriously, they'll be like, you're going to get so much crap for pronouncing it like that. I'm like, I know. Oh my gosh. So yeah. But I look at it like trying to find what can kind of separate you a little bit from some of the others and just being consistent. When I really was consistent with it, it just takes a minute, you guys. Like building this platform is the hardest, but you get the most from it once you build it. The biggest advice that I think for YouTubers is that to stay consistent with what you're doing. If they're kind of a mixture, now I'm not talking about large channels, I'm talking about smaller channels. If they're swapping back and forth between lifestyle and beauty, it kind of confuses the algorithm, and the algorithm doesn't really know what your channel is, and it doesn't know where to put your channel, because one day you're a lifestyle and the next day you're a, you know, luxury beauty or what drugstore. So it's like confuses it. I've always wanted to do a cooking channel, not because I'm a super good chef. I'm definitely not a Laura in the kitchen. Like I love her, and Divas Can Cook. If you guys want really good Southern recipes, Divas Can Cook is the bomb.com. And I just love her sweet little voice. Anyway, and Laura Vitale from Laura in the Kitchen, she's a friend of mine, and I absolutely love her. Her recipes are to die for. But so I'm not saying that I'm going to be like them, but just kind of bringing you in my kitchen and just kind of having fun, because that's also another thing that I love. So I love cooking as much as I do makeup and beauty and all that. But I really didn't want to confuse the algorithm. And so I got a hair. If you don't want to touch your face and you feel a hair on there, just grab a spoolie. It picks it up every time. So I haven't really wanted to change it up just because I don't want it to mess my channel up. Okay, next question. Is it all worth it? Yes, absolutely. All the hell, all the work, all the comments, all the backbiting and the competitive nature of it and all of it, it's worth it. If it wasn't worth it, I wouldn't do it, because I don't need YouTube to pay my bills. YouTube provides me to be able to buy makeup to review, and provides a little bit extra money left over to splurge on some few things that I want to grab, right? So I'm not in it for the money, because I don't make enough money to say that I'm in it for the money, but I would not do it if I didn't love it. If I would not do it, I would quit tomorrow if I didn't love it. I love this community. And for me, the relationship that I have with you guys, kind of chit-chatting back and forth, and all of the constructive criticism you guys have given me has helped me tremendously along the way. Like any of the times that you've kind of called me out and been like, hey, Tara, like, I don't know that I really like that you did that, or, you know, I love you, but like, comment down on this or whatever. All of that just helps me as a person. And because it comes from a place of love, I see it as a benefit for me, right? And so I love this community, and I love the relationship that we have. And it's always fun also kind of having the creator circle, you know, just having friends that you've met along the way that are kind of along this journey with you. Like Teresa and I have been friends from pretty much the beginning. And, you know, and then I became really good friends with Mel. And then, you know, after Mel passed, I met Jenna and we became fast friends. So having those relationships that kind of help you along the way because they're in it with you. They understand it, because people in your daily lives do not understand what goes into all of this craziness. They can't possibly understand it unless you're in it, right? You can try to explain it to them, but they're not going to understand it. So it's really nice kind of having that network of friends. And then you've had, you know, I've had people not be the nicest to me, right? Like I've reached out to people, content creators that have not been the nicest. It just kind of is what it is. You just kind of roll with the punches and you deal with it, or people that you think are your friends and then they end up not being your friends and you're like, okay, well, I'm glad I know now. It's cool. Her next question is, how long does it take to edit a typical video? Ooh, depends on the video, but I'm just going to use the Lisa Eldridge. That was the last video I just did. This palette, the Sorcery palette. So I finished filming. By the time I was finished filming, swatching, all of that, I got done right about 7 o'clock. My husband came home. We chatted and ate dinner and stuff. I started editing around 8 and didn't get finished until 12. It's because it was a 32-minute video with a lot of stuff into it. So here's the thing. My editing takes a lot longer than other people's because of the way that I structure my edits and the way that I kind of, you know, do the intro, and then I do an eyeshadow look and eyeshadow look 2, and then I do this and I do that. If I just turned on the camera and started talking, I could do that video in 15 minutes. Like, those type of videos are very easy to edit and upload. They just are. You could probably edit and upload a video like that, where you turn on the camera, start talking about a product, use it on your eyes, share a few swatches, tell your final thoughts. You could get that video done in about an hour and a half tops. Because there's so many layers to my videos, they take me way longer. I always tell you, work harder, work smarter, not harder. But for me, I'm doing the opposite. I'm working harder and not smarter. Those type of videos that I just spoke about, they get the views because they're getting them up quick. For me, it's a little harder for me. I can't edit and upload a video in one day. If I'm going to film it that day, I have to have that evening to be able to edit and then put it up in the morning. I can't just get the palette, you know, throw it on the face, talk about it briefly, and then throw it up on my YouTube channel within a few hours. I just can't do that. I feel like that is not a efficient way to review something. I just don't see that. I'm a very detailed girl. You guys know that. I like something that's detailed. If I am the viewer, I want to know a lot about it, especially if it's a new, you know, formula, new foundation, whatever. My videos are not the norm. Eyeshadow palettes and stuff, they take a lot longer, and they take a lot longer to film. Oftentimes, I will sit here for 3 hours swatching. Literally 3 hours swatching, because it takes a lot to go through all the palettes and find which ones work and see which shades look good. I mean, it's a long time. I will be down here for hours swatching. The next question is a very good question, and I need to take a big sip of water before I answer this. Have you had to turn down brand deals, sponsorships due to ability to be objective? Abso-frickin-lutely. So many times I will want the brand to send me the product, right? And I will want to try out the product before I commit to it. And so I had a situation recently. The video never went up because I pulled the plug on it. I was the one that lost because I did all the work and I just pulled the plug because I was like, you people are being too much for me. So they sent me the products. In my contract, it says I'm able to be honest in my thoughts. But obviously, you can't talk bad about the brand. And plus, I don't have a management company. A lot of my friends have management. I have not wanted management for multiple reasons. And I'm not saying management is not good, and I'm not saying eventually I won't do management, but right now where it stands, I don't really want to do management at the moment. But anyway, so I am basically kind of my own advocate, right? So if you have management, that's the good part about having management, is that they become your advocate. They will negotiate on your behalf and they have your back, like, you know, and they will tell brands to piss off. But actually, I'm not afraid. I am not afraid. I tell them to piss off all the time. I am not afraid. I've always been that way. I just don't care. I've never been somebody that you can walk on. Can't, unless I really care about you, maybe. But anyway, basically they're saying you can be honest about your experience with our products, but there is that line that says you can't talk bad about the brand. Well, I wouldn't have accepted the sponsorship if I thought the brand was a bad brand. I just wouldn't do it. I ignore emails every day from brands I don't want to work with, right? Because they're either brands you've never heard of or brands you're like, what are you? What does that have to do with luxury makeup, right? Or they're just brands that you just don't want to work with. So I accepted the sponsorship because I want to work with this brand, right? So I do the video, send it over for approval, and they flip out because I didn't like one of the products. They flipped out. And I was just like, well, what do you want me to do? It says right here. And like I highlighted the clause and I'm like, it says right here that I can be honest in my thoughts. They wanted me to delete that part. And I was like, I am not telling my followers that this is a good product. So if you want me to do that, peace out. And so that's what happened. We peaced out. Never went through because I'm not doing that. I won't do it. I will not do it. And I was probably able to get out of the contract because I had signed it. And I was probably able to get out of it because they're kind of the ones that went against the contract. Technically. I mean, the problem is that brands know, especially at my size now, not somebody that has 2 million followers, right? But at my size, they know that we more than likely probably don't have a lawyer on speed dial that we can call and say, hey, is this legit? Because that's a very expensive phone call to make, right? A lot of these larger, influencers, they have lawyers that they can reach out to and ask. When you're our size with 60,000 followers, you're on your own. Now, management company really, really helps. It does because they kind of take that. They have that education behind them and they kind of can strong arm them. So if I was with management, they probably could have handled that situation. But because I am on my own, I was like, you are not going to push me around and you're not going to force me to say something that I don't agree with. You're not going to force me to tell my followers that I like this product. It is not happening. So it never went through and I am so happy it didn't because they can piss off. Another thing that is an issue with brands is they take forever to review the video. So you'll send it in and then like 3 or 4 days later will go by and you're like, are we still doing this thing or what? Like you don't hear from them. And then they want you to do all these edits, but they want you to get it done like ASAP. So it's okay for them to take 4 days to get back to you. But then once they do, you're on the time crunch. Like you've got to get this done by this time, da-da-da. It's like, are you flipping kidding me? Like you guys took your sweet ass time. Why can't I take my sweet ass time? The other problem that I have with brands is that they are tricky and I'm catching on. It takes a minute to kind of learn their lingo, but I'm learning. I'm learning the brand's lingo. When they say a certain thing, their writing is on the wall that they want you to blow smoke up the brand's ass. You know what I mean? Sponsorships, you guys probably know I don't do a lot of sponsorships. I probably do, I don't know, one every couple of months or something. I don't really do a lot of sponsorships because number one, I'm really, really picky about sponsorships. They have to be the right fit. Majority of the sponsorships I accept are through Magic Links. Magic Links will kind of be the like middleman, which I appreciate. And so working directly with a brand is a little hard just because they expect a lot. It's a lot of BS in between. It is. And for me, sponsorships are necessary in order to continue to build our platform and to continue to fund our platform and, pay the bills and buy the makeup and all that. It all helps. It all adds up. But for me, I would much rather do my own stuff and buy my own stuff than kiss a brand's ass. No sponsorship is worth my integrity and the trust that I have earned from my followers, which was the point that I made to this brand that was ticking me off. I was like, listen, this brand sponsorship deal doesn't mean nothing compared to the trust that I have built with my followers. I will not get on behind my camera and tell my followers that this is a good product. So if you are okay with that, so I asked, I'm like, do you want me just to take it out? No, we want you to keep it in, but we want you to take out 90% of the things that you said about it and keep in 10%. I was like, peace out. No freaking way am I doing that. Is not going to happen. No, not doing it. Not doing it. So it's a little tricky of a game. It is. And they'll try to strong arm you. And that's not the only time that's happened. That's just a recent one that just happened to me. But I've had that happen a few times. I'm the one that's out the time. I'm the one that spent all the time filming it, you know, hitting all the key points, right, that they want you to hit, and going through the contract, making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, film it, edit it, and then upload it to YouTube, and then wait for them to come back with all their BS. And I'm the one that's out the time, not them. They did nothing, right? So to me, I'm just like, no, I am my own boss for a reason. I am not doing this, and you can't make me, because I wouldn't sign a contract. See, that's the thing too, is I read my contracts. A lot of people don't read their contracts, which I recommend if you are a smaller content creator and you're just now starting to get sponsorships, read every contract, because not all of them are the same. In fact, none of them are the same. Read every contract, read every fine print, because I won't sign a contract that says that I have to talk all this great things about the products that I'm discussing. Because this specific contract said that I was able to be honest, I had the ability to say, no, hold on. I'm being honest. You told me I could be honest, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I just recommend reading every contract. The next question is, do you actually make enough on your videos to cover the cost of items purchased? I do. I am now at the point where I'm making enough money to cover the cost of the products that I review and have a little bit extra money for like play money and, you know, things that I want to get. And that kind of helps me, you know, for my time, right? But it takes years to get there. Like, it's only been the last year that I've gotten there. So I always tell you guys that if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to do it. The next question is, how do you make money as a content creator? That is from Sophie's Voice. First off, it's the Google Ads revenue, right? So any of the ads that you see in the videos, that's a revenue. And that all depends on the views. So if you have a video that doesn't get the best views, you're not going to get a lot of money for it. If you have one that you get a lot of views, you're going to get a little bit more money for that, right? And then, of course, clicking on our links. So anytime we share links either on Instagram or our community page or any of the links that are down in the description box, those are all, majority of them are monetized links where we make a small percentage, and then sponsorships, obviously. But because I don't do a lot of sponsorships, I mean, most of my friends do way more sponsorships than I do. I probably do 10% of the sponsorships my friends do. I just don't do a lot. It has to be the right one for me to accept it. You know, so I'm a little picky when it comes to sponsorships. So I don't really make a lot of money off sponsorships. I just don't. That's my choice though, right? So I could make more money off sponsorships if I chose to, but majority of the deals that are sent my way, I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to work for me. So I don't do it. So it just all depends. There's so many, those are pretty much the three main though. They really are. The next question is, what type of equipment do you use? So I use a Rode mic, which this mic has been the best mic that I've had so far. This is the mic. That's a really good mic. Hopefully it's still working because I have issues with it. So I love this mic, but it's finicky and I always have to make sure it works. I have two box lights sitting right here. I have a ring light in front of me. In fact, I'll just take a picture. So I'm going to put up a picture right here of my little setup here, my little equipment here, just so that you guys can see it. And then my camera is something I need to upgrade. I use the Canon EOS M50 mirrorless camera, and I need to get a better camera. It's a decent camera and it's done well for what I've needed it for, but I need a better camera. I do. The next question is, this is a good question. Do you think it's worth starting a channel now? There's so much competition already. Ooh, that is a good question. There is a lot of competition out there. There is. And it's kind of hard, but it all depends on what you're starting the channel for. If you are starting a channel to make a lot of money, ooh, you might be here a while before that happens. It depends on what you're starting a YouTube channel for. If you have a lot of passion in it, I say go for it. It's a lot of work, so it is a huge commitment, and I don't think people realize the commitment that really goes into having a YouTube channel. I think you also have to be in a good mental space. So mental health to me is really, really important. If you can handle some of the negative comments, because it's not easy and it's not really for everyone to be able to handle it. It's not. And, you know, I've always had a lot of people ask me, like, why don't you have your daughter on your channel? I would love to see you, you do your daughter's makeup and stuff. But my daughter is very sensitive. She is, to me, still to this day, the nicest, most sweetest person I know, okay? My daughter has an absolute heart of gold. She would never say anything mean to anyone. If you begged her, if you paid her to say something mean, she could not say it. It couldn't come out of her sweet little mouth. She's 19 years old, has a heart of gold. I mean, that child just impresses me every single day with how sweet she is. And because of her, she's an empath. And so she feels things differently than I do. And I always said, like, if there was a negative comment towards my daughter, because it's going to happen, it's not from your followers. It's from other people. It's from the YouTube world, right? When you put a video out there, not only are your followers going to see it, but other people can see it. And so if somebody said something about my daughter and she read it before I could delete it, and it hurt her, it would ruin my YouTube channel. It would completely destroy it for me. I don't know that I would ever be back, because anything that's ever gonna hurt my kids is not worth it to me. If you're someone that has a lot of emotions, and if you're struggling mental health wise, I just would never recommend this platform for somebody like that. I just would not. I don't feel like it's a healthy place for someone who is struggling with mental health. And I take mental health very seriously. I've watched my own family members struggle since I was a kid with mental health, and it is serious business. And so, if I just wouldn't recommend it for everyone. It's just not for everyone at the end of the day. It's just not. What keeps you going even when you feel like giving up? Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, there's a couple of things. Number one, having good friends. Having good friends to help you through the hard times is really, really important. They will keep you grounded and they will keep you focused. That is really beneficial. But number two, not giving in and allowing people to get you there. Not giving those people that much power over you. That's one thing that I've learned in my, late 30s, early 40s, is that I was giving a lot of my happiness and joy to other people that didn't deserve it. And I was allowing them to control it. And I was allowing them to control my happiness. And it's stupid. It's like, no. You're right. You can have your right to your opinion. But when this gets hard, and most of the time it's when you feel like you're getting attacked. When you feel like you've messed up, you've said something really wrong, and people are coming after you, and they're attacking you every which way, you feel like giving up, but then you're like, is it worth it? Is it really worth giving up because people are coming at you? No, because that means I've given you exactly what you've wanted. You wanted to break me. I'm not going to let you. So no. And so I had to learn that kind of early on, to not to give that power to other people. I would say that is what truly helped me through it. But having friends in this content creator space is critical. Because you're gonna have those days, especially early on when you're not getting any compensation and you're just working your butt off for nothing, right? But just to keep building, and you're fighting this algorithm and you're trying to get your channel seen, and it's just it's a doggy world. And I'm still trying to get my channel seen, because even though I have 60,000 followers, that is nothing in this YouTube space. Let me make that clear. That is nothing in this YouTube space. So you're still in that they're still in that dogfight, but you're also not trying to fight as hard, because you're like, I'm good where I'm at. I'm making enough money to buy the things that I need to review. I'm making enough money to have a little bit extra over to kind of spend and, buy the things that I want to splurge on. I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. I'm good, right? So I don't feel that sense to really start going against the grind and trying to, but man, those first few years, it's tough. So how long is the filming process start to finish? Okay. So let's just say this, the Lisa Eldridge palette, okay? I started filming right around 2 o'clock. I finished right around 7 o'clock, started editing at 8, and finished editing at midnight. So it's 6 hours to film, 4 hours to edit and upload. The videos vary, so it could be, I would say it's about 8 to 12 hours for me. Now that's not for everyone. Remember, I do a lot more with editing, and the way that I like with the swatches and comparisons, it takes me way longer than other content creators to do all that. I mean, like I said, I'm spending 2-3 hours doing swatches. So it all depends on what type of channel you have. Because I'm so detailed, it's just by nature. That's just who I am. I tell you not to do that, by the way. You don't really want to put timestamps in there, because it makes your view duration less. So meaning that your audience may not watch the entire video. So if you don't have those timestamps in there and you're making your followers watch it from the beginning to end to find out how you really feel about it, it's better for your channel to do that. It is. But again, I don't really care about that. I want my content to be helpful. I want my content to benefit, because the whole point of me doing this is to, number one, I enjoy it. I enjoy this community. I enjoy content creating. But number two, help you make a good, educated buying decision. It doesn't help me to do that. It kind of hurts me, but I do it anyway, because that is more important to me than throwing a video up there just to get 20,000 views so I can keep my channel growing, right? That at the end of the day is what means more to me. Oh, this is a good question. What are 3 things that you would do differently than when you started, hindsight being 2020? Not trusting other content creators. That's number 1, because you think based on a viewer that people are behind the camera who they appear to be in front of the camera. Not only content creators, but everybody in this platform, just from like Instagram to YouTube to whatever. Automatically trusting people can be very dangerous. And I gave my trust very freely, and I thought people were what I thought they were, and I later found out that that is not exactly who they are. But I would just be a little bit more guarded on who I trusted. I think my biggest thing is screaming. I have the heart. Okay, I'm loud, and that is my biggest flaw. Oh shit, and talking with my hands because I just hit the mic. My biggest flaw is I am a loud talker. Ask anybody that knows me. I'm a very loud talker. And I've embarrassed my family multiple times by being a very loud talker. And so being a loud talker and having the mic right in front of you, like I wish I could have like a really soft, very calming voice that was just like really easy on the, ears, and it was really calming, but I am not that person. If you met me in person, you would know. I am that person that will talk to strangers. I will walk right up to them and be like, hey, my name is Tara. How are you doing today? And they'll be like, who the hell is this crazy bitch? I am just that type of person. I'm very outgoing. Not all the time. There's times that I like to have my alone time, right? And there's times that I just want to run into the grocery store and jump out. Don't really want to talk. But if I'm in a talkative mood, I will talk to about 10 people in the grocery store. Just randoms. Just talk to people. I'm very loud and kind of, hi, how are you? What's going on? Oh my gosh. So it's extremely hard for me to really tone that down. So I apologize for that. But good thing is there's a lot of really great content creators out there that are very soothing, and I am just not one of them. And I apologize for that because I am loud and in your face. And I'm just being authentic. If I come on here and was really soft and quiet, it would be very hard for me. I would forget that I'm supposed to be soft and quiet, and then I would just start talking like I normally do. So I apologize for that. Oh my gosh. Anyway, okay, so that's pretty much it for the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. It was just kind of fun to just sit back and chit chat with you guys and just kind of be open about what really goes on. And I need to stress this, that if you are someone that is going to start the YouTube channel, it is really important to have that support system, whether it's your family and your, people around you in your daily lives, because it does consume so much of your time. And also creating friendships from other content creators, because those friendships are some of the closest friendships that I've had in my life. So even though I've had content creators disappoint me, not being who I really thought that they were, but I've had so many amazing experiences that kind of makes up for anything negative, right? At the end of the day, I love what I do, and I'm okay with growing at the pace I've grown, because at this stage right now, I'm able to have really good connections with my audience. It's been an amazing experience for me, and it's been life-changing for me in a way that I didn't know I really needed. From my kids graduating and moving out, to losing my grandfather, to losing Mel, I really struggled letting go of my kids and letting go of them, and like allowing them to kind of fly and become the great adults that they are becoming, and live a life and start their own lives. And I really had a hard time with that. And fortunately, I still have a very strong, amazing marriage. I love my husband more than anything in the world. He is just my heart and soul. And we have a great marriage, and we are best friends. We have the best time. He makes me laugh every freaking day. But having this channel gave me an outlet. I'm still able to be in the comfort of my own home and chit chat with you guys and be a part of this amazing community and be a part of something that I truly love. So yes, there are hard days. Yes, this is very time consuming, but for me, it fulfills me. It really, really does. And I think if you're ever considering doing this, you have to decide what you're doing it for. Because a lot of times people start it thinking they're just going to make a crap ton of money, and it just doesn't work out. And they're like, wait, because it's so hard to make money on YouTube. But I will say, and I can't stress this enough, it isn't for everyone. I'm going to leave it there on this note. I love you guys, and thank you for supporting me and giving me the opportunity to do this. Because if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So because of that, I am just so grateful, and I just love you guys. I really, truly do. I mean, you guys are just my heart, and you guys give me the opportunity to be passionate and to be creative and have fun. And I really, really appreciate that. So that's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I know this was a long one. I apologize, but I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.